fourth world hurdle equals to Ken's record. Big bucks we won't see his like for many years.
Ken Hill sees it out strongly to win the Stayers hurdle.
He's a brilliant winner, a back-to-back winner of the Stayers hurdle. Flooring Porter wins again.
The Stayers hurdle. And if ever there was a race to be more perplexed in, I'd struggle to find it, because this has been yo-yoing all over the shop. Now, I am lucky to have Jamie on this panel because we both loved Home by the Lee as a horse, didn't we?
He was a bad chaser.
Yeah, well, I didn't back him when he first went over fences because I think he won first time, didn't he, at 8s, and then won the second time up. But I kept meeting him because I didn't back him because he went up against a good horse, didn't he? One Wild Fred, I think it was. Anywho, we liked him, but he is a failed chase that's coming in. I know people will say big bucks, that sort of stuff, but I still don't think he is a real grade 1 animal. I don't like him at the start of the market. I don't like Blazing Cow there because Penhill did it from an Albert Bartlett, comes here, he's Willie Mullins, won it without a run in between, but he'd actually won the Albert Bartlett. Blazing Cow hadn't even won at Cheltenham. I know he'd won at Cheltenham Racecourse, but hadn't won at Cheltenham Festival. He's a stupid price. I know now, because the market looks a bit weak, people will say he comes out, if he runs okay, he'll do well in the non-runner money back market. If he doesn't run well, he won't come and all that sort of stuff. But I couldn't be backing him. Flooring Porter is suspicious, but I still revert back to the first time he won a Stayers hurdle. The rail thing made me realise the horse is a bit of a weirdo. Then he has gone and won back-to-backs, because he looked fairly straightforward last season. This year, he hasn't shown enough to suggest that he's a Stayers hurdle horse. So as much as he's done it retrospectively, I'm still judging on this season's form, and I don't think the price of him is any good. Classical Dream, I do like. And you got the non-runner money back up, or non-runner no bet. I think he's 7s on there with Bet365. And I think he's about the same with William Hill. This horse is much better fresh. They ruined him last year when he got beat odds on, and they did a quick turnaround. They didn't run him at Leopardstown at Christmas, which I'm pleased they didn't do. I hope they just send him to Cheltenham, and I think he's got a right chance. He's one of those that would be your obvious shorteners, like Appreciating, that's champion hurdle. Doesn't mean they're going to win, but there is no way Classical Dream goes to the Stayers and he goes up at 7-1, and you've got that money back concession in there. So he would be my idea of an advised bet at this point. I already touched on that. I spoke to Darren a couple of days ago. Daryl, you talked about a horse pre-Christmas that you quite liked. He's done something at Christmas and he's still a reasonable price. Would you like to mention him?
Yeah, I said earlier that Moy Potter is probably one of the best valued horses of the entire week, but this pushes it close, very, very close. Like Paisley Park is not a 14-1 shot. Like, he's just not a 14-1 shot. I know before anyone says he's 11, right? But this is not a typical year where you go through the age bracket of a 7 and 8 year old, but we've got him very much improving of what we've seen so far. This is not. And he was beaten 2.5 lengths last year. Now, if you go back and watch the run last year, Aidan Coleman, I thought he gave him a terrible ride, right? Unlike Aidan Coleman, because he normally does really well on this horse, right? But he just kept hitting flat spots, and they said they didn't have him right all last year. Kept hitting flat spots, and he was jumping into back a horse, and Aidan was bringing him back because he had nowhere to go. Jumping into back, he had to strop back the entire field, circle him, and then like after the last, he just absolutely steamed home. This season, he's put up 2 pretty much career bests on RPR figures, and I think they've got him back to exactly where they want him. I honestly I've been literally holding myself back not to back this horse, and I don't know why. I think there's something in the back of my mind saying about age, or I'm waiting for something to come out of the woodwork, but just nothing is happening in this division. Nothing. Marie's Rock's not going to go. I could not have Ashdale Bob for the life of me. To Hippo, you don't win this with suspect stamina. You know, Buzz is in here. Buzz is in here at 16-1. Buzz. And Paisley Park is 2 points shorter than him. How on God's green earth is that? Does that make any sense to anybody? Like, he went off at 17-2 last year, so you're probably not getting huge value, but I genuinely think he's a better horse, or he's back to a peak this year as he was last year. Like, he came in to the race off the back a couple of disappointing efforts last year. This year he comes on the back of 2 wins. Whether or not he goes to the Cleve Hurdle, we don't know. But This is one of the most reliable horses, touchwood, you'll ever see. He finds plenty for pressure. The fact that they've stuck Dashel Drasher in here could be a blessing for him because he's going to try and take Flooring Porter on up front, right? So it could be a hell of an end-to-end gallop. Exactly what he wants. Like, lads, how is he 14 to 1? How is he not? How is Blazing Cow shorter than Paisley Park in this race?
Yeah, and that's the thing with, isn't it? Like, you're looking for a young progressive, the new up-and-coming horse, and that's why horses of age don't win these big races. But he could be an 11-year-old because there isn't a 6 or a 7-year-old or an 8-year-old that is improving enough to go and do anything. He's definitely the wrong price, isn't he?
There's Saint Sam, right, who could potentially step up, right? Willie Mullins talked about sending him out in trip, right? But he's very, very keen. You know, he's got to learn to settle. And again, we don't know enough about his stamina. The other one is Meet and Greet, who I mentioned at the top of the show, about, you know, he's improving. But again, he's got the handicap mark that could send him elsewhere, right? And then you've got Maxim, who I really, really like, but is a favourite for the Potemps. Now, his mark, depending on what the British handicap does, I think it's going to be around 147. I think that would be too good for them to turn down. You know, if he could come into a Stayers and win a Stayers hurdle where you need to be rated 164, it ain't going to matter what the British handicap does, because if they think they've got a Stayers hurdle horse on their hands for next year, then he's got to be a shoo-in for the Potemps. So he will almost certainly go there. He's only 5. He comes to the Stayers next year. So, like, for me, there is nothing coming out of the woodwork. And Paisley Park, you have to back him. I haven't backed it yet. I'm going to go and back him tomorrow. I'm going to go back a couple actually tomorrow at the non-runner no bet. So
good man.
Right, actually, I'm not going to back him non-runner no bet. I'm going to back him.
Well, you can still get 12s non-runner no bet just for the sake of it, couldn't you? But again, this is the thing with it. Like, I like to consider, especially with betting, like, you can do it like 40 hours at final decks and everything, but you want to be looking at like buying a slice of the pie, don't you? And you want to buy things at the same time. Say, imagine you were building your own car, you got to buy the wheels, the bonnet, all that sort of stuff. If the wheels are the right price at that time, you buy the wheels first and you get the rest after. Paisley Park will go off single figures, absolute fact. He needs to go in the book. And that's what I feel like, again, with Classical Dream, like the 7s, non-runner money back, he'll go off half that price on the day. Paisley will go off half the price. You can back them both non-runner money back, so you've got no actual risk at all attached to them. And I think they're definitely the two bets. Jamie, we haven't let you speak in here yet, and we've been fairly critical of a few of the Irish horses, just saying they're maybe not good enough, especially our boy Home by the Lee. How do you see it? Is there something else we should be looking at?
Oh, I could be here all day, Dave. I could write a book.
Okay, let's not talk about it then. Thank you very much, Jamie. Go on. You can have
Home by the Lee. Look, he's won 2 races this year. I think the way he runs in the track, the way they want to keep him away from horses, do you know what I mean? This whole thing, if you eyeball him, you're going to beat him. Flooring Porter doesn't look the same to me, because look at last year when he ran the Lismullen, he looked like he was going to win and he fell. Classical Dream got the giddy up on him in that race at Leopardstown, and he'd have beaten him if he didn't. And he doesn't look the shadow of the horse. It's exactly what Darrell was saying. I always say, and I'll come back to videos that we've done before, if you can keep up with Flooring Porter and annoy him, then he'll spit out the dummy, and that means he won't win. I think he's done like better ground. He will be better on better ground. There's no doubt of that. But to be honest with you, I'm very lukewarm at the moment. The two in for me, I suppose, and I hate to say it, like, I can't have Classical Dream, but both of your money. Watch the race back last year, Dave. The way he jumped the last, he looked like he was dead. And they didn't go that fast the last year in the race. He was still beaten by Thyme Hill, Champ, and Paisley Park in the race. To me, he won't get up the hill in 3 miles. He wins a Punchestown every year because it's an afterthought. It's a greyhound track in Punchestown. It's a speed track, which suits him better. And he looks like a world beater in those races, in my opinion. He just doesn't stay 3 miles at Cheltenham for me. It's like a Thyme Hill doesn't stay 3 miles at Cheltenham for me. So you might think I'm mad. And 2 horses I've come down on, I disagree with that. I think Teahupoo will love the 3 miles. I think he'll love the 3 miles. And I look back on his form. Is it like a Jerry Calam? They're saying, oh, he needs soft ground. He's won on yielding ground at Naas. Left-handed is another quib. They're saying, oh, he might not go left-handed. He won at Naas that day, and he actually bolted up. Now, slowly run, sprinted away, fair enough. And that's the type of race that I think he'll like. And for me, he's definitely a bet. And of course, I love Charles Burns. I'm waiting on Blazing Cat. I'm sure he's going to go to the Galmoy on Tayesta's Day at Gorman Park. but the crib of the form. Look, my own horse was against him that day at Cheltenham, beaten out the gate by him. Janino Betta, useless, current mood, brutal. Do you know what I mean? Ballygriffin.
Brutal.
Yeah, Ballygriffin Cottage. Do you know what I mean? All those horses in the same horse he was beaten all the time. You're going on the potential of Blazing Cal, and that's why he has a chance, because I think it's crap. It's brutal this year, but everyone, you got 7 or 8 horses have a chance of actually winning it. My crib at Paisley Park is that he was still beaten by Lisnagar Oscar lads. I'm sorry. It's just in the back of my head. Like, he was one of the bankers of the meeting that year, wasn't he?
Yeah.
After area, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me, I'm down to Blazing Cal and Tupu. I've backed Tupu for the race at a fancy price. Backed Blazing Cal at a fancy price, and I'm happy. Am I 100% happy? No, I'm not. But I'm going to wait till Blazing Cal. Hopefully, he'll come out in the Galmai. Probably learn nothing, because he's probably up against nothing, because Castle Your Dream won't run. And that's about it, really. And best luck to you if you back the winner.
Nice. I will say one thing, because I mean, very few people will be at the end of this video, but if you are, please comment and say thank you, Dave, for this fantastic piece of information. We're going to get the Champion Hurdle, Stairs Hurdle, all those sort of things. We're going to get those entries out next week, right? I don't think this will happen, because he's not the type of trainer to do a speculative entry. But what do you do with a horse like Envoy Alam? You run him in the Stairs Hurdle, and then, he's not even quoted with any bookmaker. But
what about High Senor?
Here we go. Jamie, this is where the videos go on too long for nonsense. Right? You get the blame for it.
I get the blame. Yeah.
High Senor goes Gold Cup because Lucinda was happy with the King George. But anyway, all I'm saying is I just want to put this out there, because if I don't do it, then I can't crop it and use it in the future. If Envoy Alan gets an entry in the Stairs Hurdle, he will all of a sudden be interested. He might not get an entry, which is right at the end of the video. Anyway, we're going to move on. I think that's all of Wet Thursday done. We'll move on to the Triumph Hurdle. Like the video, subscribe, comment below, and then there'll be a link to the video somewhere above.